The storm outside matched the storm inside her heart. Vivian Stone, a powerful CEO worth millions, stood in front of her company's glass doors at dawn, dressed in worn jeans, an old hoodie, and sneakers that had seen better days. No one could recognize her like this, and that was the point. For weeks, she had worried her employees only respected her money, not her as a human being. So she made a bold decision. She'd disguise herself as a broke woman looking for work inside her own company. The first morning, she was ignored by executives in tailored suits, brushed aside by assistants, and nearly scolded by a receptionist for standing in the lobby too long. But just as her frustration started to boil, someone noticed her. It wasn't a manager. It wasn't a team leader. It was a janitor. Daniel, a quiet single dad who worked night shifts cleaning the building, gave her a smile that could cut through the coldest morning. "You look like you could use some coffee," he said gently, offering her a steaming paper cup from his thermos. "It's not fancy, but it's warm." Vivian was caught off guard. Nobody had looked her in the eyes all day, yet this man, mop in one hand, kindness in the other, treated her with dignity. Over the next week, Vivian quietly took an entry-level job in the mailroom, working alongside people who barely acknowledged her existence. But every night, when Daniel pushed his mop through the marble halls, he'd stop and chat. He told her about his little daughter, Emily, who loved drawing but couldn't afford new crayons. He laughed about the clumsy things he did in the kitchen, trying to cook healthier meals. He spoke with the kind of honesty Vivian hadn't heard in years. And slowly, something inside her began to shift. One evening, she stayed late, shuffling papers just to have an excuse to talk with him again. Daniel noticed her rubbing her wrist, tired from hours of sorting. Without hesitation, he set the mop aside and offered, "Let me help with those boxes." Vivian frowned. "That's not your job." He shrugged with a warm smile. "Sometimes, kindness is more important than job descriptions." Those words hit her harder than any business deal ever had. But the real moment came on a rainy night, when she saw him slip a few bills from his wallet into an envelope for a coworker who couldn't afford bus fare. He didn't think anyone was watching. She saw the struggle in his eyes. He barely had enough for himself, yet he still gave without hesitation. Vivian's throat tightened. Here was a man with nothing to spare, yet his heart overflowed with generosity. And in that moment, she realized, the test she had created for her staff had led her to a truth she hadn't expected. Daniel wasn't just a janitor. He was the kind of person her company needed most, the kind of soul she didn't know she herself needed. The CEO, hidden in plain sight, felt her walls crumble as a single dad with a mop quietly swept straight into her heart.